Hi there, I'm Gilza Fort-Martinez.
And I am Maria Alfonso.
And together we are Letters to My Therapists. We will talk about the family pressure when the woman is older than the man. Hi, Mari.
Hi, Gilza.
I'm so glad that you're here and that we can share another letter together.
Yes, me too.
Okay, so today's letter starts with, I experienced a lot of prejudice in my last relationship because of our age gap. I feel a lot of resentment that we were pulled apart by our families because of the 15-year difference. And I can't help but feel that if he had been the older one, that there would not have been such a fuss. Thoughts?
Well, age gap is real.
It's real.
It's a real challenge in relationships. And what is the age? What is the number that is manageable for people, and what is accepted? What people consider appropriate? Right. That is something that kind of like change according to groups, according to society, according to culture.
Yeah. Time periods, right? Time periods. But there is an age bias, right? I mean, we would agree with her that there is an age difference and that there's a bias in that.
Yeah, concerning the gender. Because it's true that society kind of like is more understanding. Sometimes it's more acceptable when there is the male that is older than when there is the female. That is true that she experienced that. But what else is going on there? Because she used the word resentment. So she said,
it's a heavy word, right?
There is pain.
There is pain there. She goes on to say that there's a lot in the media about the age gap in relationships where the man is older, but not a lot about the reverse. And so she wants to know, what's our perspective on this? Well, first, we would agree with her, right? That there is an age difference bias according to gender in our society, that this is, we live in a patriarchal society, right? It's okay for men to do certain things, that it's not always appreciated in the same way for women, right?
Yes, but now when we go to what is really the big deal when you're talking about age gap, there is definitely sometimes a difference in interest. Because if people are in different generations, sometimes one is in one stage of life and the other one is already in another one. Like I recently spoke with a couple that one of them was already getting ready for a retirement, and the other person was getting ready to make a big move and change jobs because she wanted to really grow in the professionally. So that, we can see those type of things that may influence what do they live, what do they do with the money, the Russians. So definitely we said this is real. Now, we have seen in our professional practice that people, when they are willing, sometimes they can work and they can put extra effort and they are able to overcome.
They can show right from challenges to celebrations, right? As we say sometimes. But one thing I wanted to ask you about, she says that her resentment, it seems, is a lot with the family pressure, right? She talks about how she feels that they were pulled apart by the family.
Yeah, and there is it's a plural there. So seems like it's both families.
Yes, our families, she says.
Families. So that's also true that sometimes families, depending on the culture, families could have like a big influence. In some cultures, like stronger influence than others. In this case, seems like that was what happened. So one thing that we consider is the topic of boundary, because how much of boundaries they were able to, definitely probably they didn't, but that is something with other couples that are listening.
Right.
If there is a possibility that could be like a big disagreement, sometimes we don't have to give the family all the right to really make decisions in relationship.
Right.
Pressure can be real. We know that that is hard to overcome. But if the couple work together, they are able maybe to make
kind of protect their nucleus, right?
Yeah, create some type of plans, like more specific to be able to navigate.
That. Now, I am interested in the family pressure, though, right, Mari? Because we know, like you said, that pressure can come from a whole bunch of different directions, whether it's religious or whether it's the financial differences, right? Or whether just even cultural, right? We don't really know from her perspective here what exactly was it that the family was opposed to. Okay, there's a 15-year difference. She's obviously the older one to him. So, but we don't really know where in life they are, as you said. What's the lifestyle changes, and we don't really know what the family is opposed to,
and what is what they did.
What did they do? How did they pressure?
Yes,
and I think that's important too, because she does say that it's both families, right? So, how did they pressure? Did they criticize? Did they isolate them? Did they, just outright not include you in one or the other in activities or events, right? I really think that would be an important piece of this puzzle, and of possibly helping her to overcome the resentment, right?
Yes, because at the end, the resentment is hurting her. And I really, they are not together anymore, but I will say there is a component here of also the responsibility in the couple. Because I don't know when this happened. I don't know if they were too young, if they were minors, if they were still depending on the family. But if they were adults and they were able to be like financially independent,
make their own decisions,
probably they didn't have the skills, probably they didn't have the ability, but the responsibility, I wouldn't say is 100% in the family. I don't want to blame them. I don't know the details. We always get like a part of the story.
Just a part of the story, right?
But we really want to encourage people to think about what is our responsibility, what is my pattern, what do I always do when my family is putting pressure on me.
Right.
Yeah.
Outside of a relationship. And I think that's a great point. The family pressure in general, how does that impact you, right? We have couples that the partner will, it doesn't matter how old they are, but they will do, right, what one parent says or the other. And some of it might be just custom. Some of it might be financial pressure, right? Well, if you don't do this, you don't get that, right? There's lots of legacy and inheritance situations that happen sometimes. But there is also the culture, right? My mother was a very powerful, forceful woman, but she knew her place. But some people, very powerful, have very powerful mothers, then they may have some difficulties in kind of navigating or managing their own personal relationships, right? Because they're used to doing what mom says or doing it mom's way, right? And so we don't know how to make that separation, okay, in other situations. Then we get involved in a relationship, and now we have the other layer of, wow, I don't know how to navigate my own stuff in general, and now I got to try to figure out how to balance it with my partner and what my partner may want or how they want to do things. But my mother always told me how to do things, right? So just an example, but we don't really know what kind of pressure they got. And I think that would be an important component here.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of like having these like two ways of looking at this. That's the role the family play. But there is also like this person that was your partner, maybe didn't stand enough for you.
Right, stand up for you.
Yeah, what do you want in the future? Like when you're gonna choose another relationship, and what also like your peace, because you also follow your family recommendations, pressure in this case.
Right. So I think that a piece of this, she asks what we thought. But I think we would almost want to give her a little bit more, that for her to consider any future relationships, for her to really kind of consider, right, what her boundaries are, how she may want to be able to have conversations with her partner about boundaries, right, and about how families can potentially separate us, maybe with good intentions, we don't know, but how they can separate us because we aren't clear on, right, what we want, where we're going, how we want to, do things, together into the future.
Yeah, the topic of family really should be a conversation that people can have.
And every couple should have, right?
Everybody, because, what do we do? Like, what is the moment that we allow them in? And then when do we say no? But also, like, you have to really realize that the family of your partner somehow has to be part of your life.
Right.
You don't want also to create that situation where you say, okay, then I don't want anything to do with your family.
It's a dance, right? How much? How much of your family? How much of their family? And then what about us, right? Where do we stand? And it is a really important conversation. A lot of couples, as they're getting to know each other, don't have that conversation. They just step into the conflicts, right? So we would want to encourage people, have these conversations as you're getting to know somebody, right? What's important? Where does your family stand in your life? How do you manage when your family has a different opinion than you, right?
Yes.
Those are pre-conversations we should encourage people, right?
And definitely if there is like an age gap, okay, realize that are going to be challenges for you and also with the society.
People around you,
the people,
right?
And okay, how we're going to handle this.
Have those conversations, right? Okay, well, I think these are our recommendations for today. Although she asked us for our perspective, we gave you a couple of extra little tips, and we want to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at our next episode.
Yes.
We want to be the light at the end of the tunnel for you.
Write to us at letterstomytherapist.com and follow us on social media.